Hi friends, I thought it would be a lot of fun to see what ChatGPT can do when it comes to deck building. So AI is everywhere and it's a super cool tool as long as it doesn't take over the world. So I thought it would be fun to try to see what kind of EDH deck it would build, see if it gets good cards. So we're gonna go ahead and try that out and see what kind of deck an AI could build. All right, so I literally went to randomcommander.com. Super great. I've used this with my friends. We are going to see Cedrus the Traitor King. He is a 5/5, 3 blue, black, and red zombie warrior. Each creature card in your graveyard has unearthed 2 and a black. So pretty much just unearthed. We got graveyard shenanigans, but I love that we're also splashing in red and blue here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over to ChatGPT, and we are going to ask it, please, because I want AI to be on my good side, please create a level 8 Magic the Gathering Commander deck with Cedrus the Traitor King as my commander. And I'm trying to figure out if there's like any kind of focus that I would like the deck to have. I mean, I like the graveyard shenanigans for black, but we are splashing red and blue. So maybe focusing on graveyard shenanigans, and then also, red. So I guess treasures would be good. I can focus blue on like interaction would be really good. So maybe for red, focusing on haste. I mean, that's basic red. So focusing on haste and see what it says. All right, so we got it seems pretty balanced. We got pretty much even balance of creatures splashing in, enchantments, which I really appreciate. We got good artifacts and instant sorceries, all of that. Wow. Okay. So the lands, it's like no basics. It's just like all really, really good stuff. And they put in a planeswalker. Yay. Okay. So I'm all about planeswalkers. I put at least 1, if not 2 in every single deck I build. So really excited that they have Nicol Bolas in here. I've never used Nicol Bolas, so that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Haste is good. Graveyard is good. Let's add in entering the battlefield effects. I think that would make it a little bit more interesting. All right, so it's getting on a list here. Let's go ahead and see, honestly, just the difference between the first one and the second one. It looks like it's a lot of the same stuff. So I think it would be really good to put them side by side to try to figure out what all actually changed for me asking ChatGPT to add in those ETB effects. See what kind of changes it made there. Having this be as similar as possible as the original, I think would be good. Just because we're asking ChatGPT just to do its thing. So let's go ahead and go over to a spreadsheet and try to figure out what's the same, what's different, and how we can combine them to be the same deck. All right, so starting things off for Cedrus the Traitor King, I try to have this as organized as possible. On the very, very left-hand side, this is the very first deck list that we got from the AI ChatGPT build. And then we have the second round over here where we focused on adding in entering the battlefield effects. Then you can also see like this first category corresponds to the first original deck list, and then the same thing for the second category for the second deck list, but we are focusing on the low cost from TCG player prices. I'm mostly a budget build kind of person, so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but for starting off, we are going to go ahead and look at the creatures that was given to us for Cedrus the Traitor King. So there's a lot of really good things. Starting out, Kiki Jiki, Mikaeus, Runescarred Demon, Grave Titan, Shieldred, a lot of really big bangers here. A popular favorite for most, Dockside Extortionist, Wormcoil Engine, Frost Titan, Sidisi, that's a really good one. Let's see, I like Fleshbag Marauder. We also have Anger, so love those. But then that's where we do see that where there are some, things that ChatGPT isn't the best at, which is where there was a duplicate for anger here for that first build, and obviously EDH is a singleton format, so I got to kick that guy out. And then I have highlighted over here all of the additional cards that were given to us when I was adding in that enter the battlefield effect. So I really love that Baleful Strix is in here. I love Baleful Strix. Massacre Worm's really good, Meteor Golem, but we can see I highlighted Sun Titan differently here just because obviously Sun Titan is not able to be entering in this deck because it does not correspond to my commander's color identity. So got to get rid of Sun Titan. That's obviously an illegal pull there, but for the most part I like the additional creatures here. I am a mostly creature heavy kind of player, so that's my comfort zone. For artifacts, it's pretty much all of the same thing, so completely normal there. We got the Signet, Soul Ring, Command Sphere, Chromatic Lantern, the boots, and then Ashnods and Phyrexian Altar. So really just some good staples here. Basic artifacts. I think for the most part, yeah, enchantments and instants are both also the exact same. From enchantments, I love to see Animate Dead. I love to see Sneak Attack. Those are just good enchantments. I just love enchantments anyways. Creatures and enchantments is my jam. So for instance, Psych Rift, Chaos Warp. Chaos Warp is my favorite here. Also Swan Song. I love Swan Song. And then we get to sorceries, and there are a couple differences, but for the most part, a lot of the same things. Victimize, Buried Alive, Rise of the Dark Realms, Blasphemous Act, Wheel of Fortune, which I totally see that. It really does make sense, but at $140, that's just not a realistic ad for me. So that's going to be the very first card that I cut when actually building out this deck. Obviously, it's a super good card. I'm just not willing to put $140 into a deck from one card. So at least at this point in my life as a Magic player. So I love that card, not for $140. But then we see the differences over here for Black Sun Zenith and Windfall. So just something to consider as we're going to finalize building this out. And then lands, we have not a single basic. So a lot of these are really good cards. Blood Crypt, we got Bloodstained Mire, Verdant Catacombs, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. So just a lot of really good, not basic lands. So I guess that's what we're doing. I did ask for it to be a level 8, so I guess that's where this is coming in from. And then just a couple other differences from that deck 1 build from a couple lands. But then actually a really cool difference was that deck 1 included a Planeswalker while deck 2 didn't. And if you've been around Queen Honey games at all for any length of time, you know that I love Planeswalkers. So I am of course adding in Nicol Bolas here. This brings us down cost-wise. Deck 1 was $475, and then deck 2 was $623. So quite a big difference there. I think for the most part, like having this as a level 8 build, the $475 seems a little bit more of like a 6 or 7 costing deck, whereas the $623, that feels more like a low end level 8 deck. So I mean, I can see both of those costs here. That seems like a lot. It makes a lot of sense for the type of deck that I'm asking to be built. We need it to move quickly. We need it to have really strong entering the battlefield effects. So lots of cards that people would want to counter. So we're trying to get away from that. So cost wise, it makes sense. There are a couple things, like I said, like the Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to definitely nix that one. I'll keep it on like the considering so people can see that it's a part of the deck. But otherwise, I'm really happy with how we changed from the first one, adding in the ETB effects. So let's go ahead and we're going to head over to MOXFIELD and finish building this out to the actual 100 cards that we are going to use for this Cedrus the Traitor King deck. Alright, so I will go ahead and list my MOXFIELD, specifically this commander deck, so that you can see exactly what I have all picked out here. I am really excited to have this as the artwork for my commander. So if nothing else, I'm going to go all out as much as I can for my commander card, have the best artwork that I can find or that I just really enjoy. So here we have from Ian Miller, this wonderful artwork for Cedrus the Traitor King that I think is really fitting for a commander. I am going to do the foil one. It is still pretty inexpensive either way, so don't really have to worry about that. I do like foil. I know lots of people don't like the curling that's possible for foil, but I think, hey, for my commander, I think it fits. So I actually also have these like really fun, like, starry inner sleeves that I put on each of my commanders. So he's going to get a little sazzle there. If we're looking over at Nicol Bolas, I think that really matches the color palette for Cedrus. So I like how they work together here. And then I chose some of the artworks for the rest of, everything else in the deck. But for the most part, I'm just really excited to see how it came together. I really want to know what you guys think. Did I add something or cut something that you think I shouldn't have? How would you add cards in based off of the new sets that have come out recently? I will say that, ChatGPT, it is interesting. If you're just using the basic unpaid version, then it only goes, I believe, up to cards for Magic from, I think, the year 2019. So the most of these cards that have come out recently, it just wouldn't have the knowledge to put those cards in here. I might have made a couple changes. I don't really see any though. So for the most part, from 2019 and under, that's where these cards are coming from. I did choose some artworks, that I just really enjoyed. But for the most part, I think it's a really solid deck. I'm really excited to give this a try. I am going to be, paper proxying these out just because this isn't a typical deck that I would be building. So I'm also excited for that because it's pushing me outside of my comfort zone, making me, try a commander that I normally wouldn't have tried. So I would give this a try yourself, see what kind of deck you can be challenged by for ChatGPT. Let me know what you think they did, how well you think they did, and let me know if you think you could do a better job, because at the end of the day, this is a really strong deck, and so I'm excited to try it out. Hopefully I'll be able to find a friend to play this with me. But thank you guys so much for being here, and as always, happy gaming.